Brian Brown with Summerlin Advisory Group, and we have my co-host today,
Rebecca Amesbury Batisto from Avast Marketing. Hi.
Hi, guys. Well, Rebecca and I have been working together for, I hate to say it,
10,000 years.
1,000 years. And she is a incredibly trusted advisor to me and to my clients about a topic of which is a hot spot that is out there that we constantly, Rebecca and I both hear every time we get together and talk to a potential customer. Uh, the viewpoint of what is marketing comes up. And 1,000 times I can tell you it's been a different answer. No one
Right.
has the right framework of what it actually is. And Rebecca, I'm sure you've heard it 10,000 times.
Yeah, I mean, I get pulled into these meetings and asked for advice on things that I'm baffled. I'm like, why am I being asked this? This morning, I got an email asking me, where is our domain? I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Why are you asking me? I didn't buy your domain for you. And so sure enough, of course, I'm like trying to help them. But at the same time, the whole time it's their IT guys asking me where their domain is. Thinking, this is not my area of expertise. The
But
blind leading the blind.
that is such a perfect example because there is such a bastardization of lines between IT to
Yeah.
marketing, marketing to lead generation to business development. So,
Yeah, sales.
I guess let's just throw it out there, right? Because I mean, it's not just salary guides and happy puppy day posts on social media.
You're right. Marketing is very confusing. To backtrack a little bit, so Brian and I have worked together for a very long time. I think we might be at about 15 years. I'm not sure, somewhere around that.
It's north of
But
15, yeah.
we've been working together for a long time. We both have businesses that do very separate things, but our target audience, when we work together, our target audience is the same. We go after staffing companies. We work with staffing companies. We help grow their business. And we both have clients that are outside of the staffing world, but together we know this world. We have worked together in this world for a very long time. So this is the target audience is basically business owners, staffing business owners, and we've worked in every genre of staffing, I think, and all over the US and outside the US. So yeah, this is an area that we know pretty well. And like Brian said, when I get introduced to companies that are in the staffing world, especially if they're new, especially if the owner has a definite separation from some elements of the business, they don't understand what marketing is. And quite often they don't understand why they can't do their own marketing. Like, I love social media, I could do that. And I think you asked me what marketing is. I think that marketing is persuasion. And that's my master's degree is in rhetoric, which is the art of persuasion. So what we do as a marketing company, we do two things that help our target audience. We do reach out to their target audience, learn as much as possible about that target audience. We know their pain points. We really want to understand them. And then we do everything we can to showcase how your service or product will amplify the message that they want to get to their target audience, that will help their target audience be better, be faster, be more efficient, whatever it is that we're trying to do.
So
I can
Rebecca,
see you want to stop me.
dumb it down even more because I think this is a conversation that people start taking the I-95 it's the wrong direction and they get lost, right? So marketing in general, if we could say from a definition standpoint, persuasion is good, but the audience, in my opinion, like Rebecca said, we dovetail in our business lines together because at the end of the day, we want to grow companies, right? So marketing is, if it's publicly facing, if the consumption of content, the consumption of your website, social media, job posts, I mean, everything that is consumed publicly has marketing touching it. It should in general, right? Because that persuasive voice, the social proof that you're trying to bring to somebody to consume, comes from the marketing team. And I think a lot of people, a lot of business owners uh, don't look at it from that lens. And they segment things out and they try to have other people do other things. And it loses the voice, it loses the brand, it loses the consistency. And for the end of the day, it really loses the end result that you're trying to accomplish, which is a common voice, right? That has reached out to
Yeah.
somebody. So maybe dumb it down a little bit more of like what when you look at a marketing department and the tasks they accomplish, what should it look like if you think about it?
Yeah. So we're trying to reach your target audience and show them how we can make your business better, right? And so we do that by adding as many elements as possible: social media, email, lead generation, lead magnets, so things that people want to download, informative videos, everything that you can think of that would go into marketing. And the reason that people will say, oh, why can't I just do it myself? Chat GPT could do this for me. They can write 30 days of content for me. The reason you can't do it yourself is because it is completely overwhelming. And we wrestle all of that. We put it into campaigns and we make sure that it speaks to your target audience, not to you, because that's what a lot of business owners will do, is they'll write stuff and they're like, no, this is what I want my business to sound like. And I'm like, that's great, but what does your client want your business to sound like? So we wrestle all of that for you. We put it in campaigns, we track it, we make sure that everything goes out in a manner in which it can be consumed by your target audience. And then we make sure that your sales team is speaking the same language, saying the same things, that they know what we're sending out, we know what they're sending out. So it all matches. We put it all together in campaigns, wrap it up nicely, shoot it out, automate it as much as possible, and then we give you your results. From there, we do it again. Might tweak it, might change it, might completely lose that and start over because of whatever reason. Maybe the industry has changed, the economy has changed, whatever. And so that's what we do over and over and over for you, so that we can grow your business, fill your funnel, get more of the right people listening to your message.
And I think what's so important here for those of you who are listening is understanding that the organic outreach in B2B, okay, is not meant to say I'm sending an email or I'm making a post and magically some customers clicking on it and buying from me today. I believe on average now it's somewhere between 12 to 15 touches for a potential consumer of your service. In this case, let's say staffing, professional services, 12 to 15 touches for them to even realize who you are, what you do, and have some sort of association with that. Now, with that being said, the combination and flow, you said campaign, I think this is such a hot topic, is that a campaign is not a 1 week we're sending happy Easter or spring cleanings here, let's
Right.
come let us help you clean your books, right? It A campaign is a 90-day minimum window that has a certain path, curated content, et cetera, that is pulled through from all aspects, from marketing to the actual sales team. What I'm saying is, talk to me a little bit about, because the campaign comment comes up all the time, right? It's like they expect immediate results. You're talking to a business owner. Business owners are on ADD. They want results tomorrow. Like,
Right.
what's your ROI? What am I paying you for? You've heard this conversation 1,000 times. But a campaign is time. A campaign builds the funnel for people to realize and curate the understanding of what you're actually providing to them.
Right.
Talk to me a little bit about that campaign and some of the pitfalls you've seen with that.
I could go into the pitfall so often, but yeah, especially in staffing. Like I said, I do work with companies outside of staffing, and they don't tend to be quite as, use the term ADD. They don't tend to be quite as, we need this now. It has to be tomorrow. It has to be like, we need results right now. The world, even though we have chat GPT and all of this stuff now, and we can automate things fast, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to give a campaign 3 months to find out whether it was successful. And I cannot tell you how many times I have worked with business owners and they're like, no, it's run for a week and we haven't seen any results. I was on a call with a Google Ads expert yesterday from Google. We were having this conversation and she's like, you do know that these ads have to run for at least a month for us to even start managing your budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's Google. And I mean, we're talking the top echelon, right? Google cannot understand your ad for at least 1 month. So you're not going to get the results that you want in that first month. In the second month, they start to present you with the people that you want. Google Ads should be running for a long time for you to be able to see the results. Same with your SEO, for example. These are just examples. Every element in your campaign has to be able to stand alone for a while. On SEO, for you to have a successful landing page, which is just one element of most campaigns, you want to be able to speak directly about that one thing that you're doing in the campaign. You're supposed to be adding calls to action that relate directly to the goal of that campaign, not your overall business. That continues to run in the background. This is just for this
Excellent
campaign.
point. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So when you have a landing page, Google, again, we're talking SEO, Google will not rank your landing page until you have links coming into the page. So it doesn't know, there has to be a bridge for, we call them spiders. They're these little bots that Google sends out to read your landing page. And there has to be a bridge from one website to the other website for Google to get to your website. They're not going to rank it immediately. So if you just run your campaign for 1 week, you will not get the results you want. And you just spent all of the money and time, and you're not even giving the people that you're employing the right tools to do the business that you're asking them to do. You're setting them up for failure. The marketing campaign is set up for failure. The sales team will not be able to run with what you've given them. So you have to have these campaigns run for, like you said, 12 weeks. We usually do one campaign per quarter. If the company is much bigger, we may run more than one campaign, but that's really for bigger companies. Otherwise, you're overwhelming everybody and you're not able to see the results that you want. You're not able to pull them out of the mass of analytics that you've got.
Well, I think this is a point where everyone just really needs to listen up on this, because selling B2B has changed significantly over the last 5 years. So if you haven't realized this yet, and you're still with your sales team out there going, you need to make 250 dials, and 250 dials is going to lead 100 connects, and 100 connects is going to get 5 meetings, and five. Nobody picks up the phone, folks, anymore. Like, here's the reality.
No.
Okay. Look at yourself. How many spam calls do you guys get
Oh my
every day?
God.
Right? No one picks up the phone.
Several an hour now.
So,
It's nuts.
so if you are running your business like Tech Systems, Aerotech, Robert Half did 15 years ago, where you're pushing people to dial all day long, your results will consistently drop. As a matter of fact, a new sales report from the Wall Street Journal came out about 2 months ago that said outbound dials, outbound cold calls now have a lower response rate for actually acquiring a customer than doing mass emails, which mass emails is annoying as shit, right? So now our dialing, why, that's why people have outsourced dialing to another country, right? Because
Right.
we have to pair significantly stronger with marketing to create unique campaigns to get our customers to actually want to use us, want to talk to us, because we're solving a need, right? And for those of you that are listening that are in staffing, probably a majority, because this is what we're pushing in this call, is that staffing has become so commoditized. What exactly is your benefit to the customer? And you need marketing to help you outline that. You have to have work in a team and collaborative environment with Rebecca type person, or hopefully you're going to give us a call after listening to this and work with us to do this, to come up with these right answers, because dialing doesn't work. Dialing is dead. We need ways to
Right.
funnel social proof and work with marketing to get campaigns that get a client to actually click and say, I'm interested to see more because you seem to be able to solve a problem. What other trends have you seen that are changing in your perspective in that regard? Because I'm shouting from the mountaintops to my clients and in roundtables, etc. Cold calling is dead,
Right.
and you've got to be doing something similar too.
Yeah. I mean, cold calling and texting. SMS texting, it's a waste of time. I ignore them every single time. I think that a few things I think you said 15 touches before somebody becomes interested. It always was 6 touches. And I think you're right. It is now 15 touches because we have so much information coming at us, that it definitely has to be more than 6 now, because you need to see somebody's credibility. You're talking about social proof. You need to see that somebody is talking your language, that they are hitting the trigger words, the keywords that you understand. So you need to be on, obviously, all of the platforms that we all know about. Yes, you still should be doing outbound emails. And I'm sure there's going to be people who are like, she's crazy, don't do that. But they do still work. They are not as valuable as they used to be, but they do still work. But they're all coming into a funnel, and you may have 20,000 people on your email list, and that is going to get so much smaller as you actually start to qualify the leads. And
Yeah,
that's one thing I've noticed, is that you used to be able to start, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, you used to be able to start with 20,000, and then you'd see, oh, 15,000 opened my email. Well, that number doesn't mean anything anymore, because now Apple and Google have said, we're just going to show everybody as opened. So
yeah,
that number doesn't count anymore. And so the numbers, I think, are changing. The analytics that you should be watching are changing. And I think that we talked about IT. I think that there needs to be a tighter relationship, a more collaborative relationship with IT and sales, whether that's business development or sales or recruiting. There should be more collaboration there. And it doesn't have to be marketing that's running that collaboration. But if marketing's putting together the campaigns and they need an element from IT, but not that much, it just makes sense to me that marketing is running the whole campaign and bringing
yeah.
those together. So I feel like a lot of the time, the business owners that we work with, they step out of the meetings, um, because they're trying to do 20 different things. And so I think that it needs to be simplified for business owners. They need to find somebody that they trust. They need to understand what the campaign is going to be doing, and then leave that person to manage the whole thing, manage the
100%,
relationship.
100%.
Because, I mean, that's what you and I do. It's exactly what we do. We manage the relationships between the teams on your staffing company, because you're all over the place and you're working every weekend and you're exhausted and you can't keep track. And we've done this for others. So, it just makes sense.
100%. And the frustration's real. Everybody listening to this call feels the frustration. Where's my ROI? What am I getting this? And at the end of the day, if you don't have an answer to that question, it's because you didn't set a parameter up front as to what you're trying to accomplish. And I'm sure
Or
everyone
you
listening
let
to
that
this,
parameter fall, right? Like maybe
yeah,
you said you were going to do it for 3 months, and then like 2 weeks into it, you're like, I'm not seeing any results. Well, you haven't tracked it yet. You haven't given it its time. Yeah. Sorry,
yeah.
interrupted you.
So for those of you listening, if you're feeling the struggle and frustration on what is marketing and how do you pull this through, our series is going to continue. The next one coming out here in a couple of weeks will be based on what does that campaign look like? How do you budget it? And really diving more into the cost and the ROI. But right now, if you're sitting there thinking, I'm frustrated, I don't know what marketing is, click the link below. Okay. Reach out to Rebecca and I. Let's set up a conversation, talk it through, see if we can help you. And some key takeaways for today on my side from this is, remember, cold calling's dead. You need a great marketing department that you can collaborate with. But most importantly, to Rebecca's point, and she can add her points too, but this is my perspective, your persuasion to what the public consumes. You have to have an idea of what you're trying to accomplish with that. There has to be a pull through. What is your brand that you're putting out there, and why should somebody look at it, engage with it, and come see you? And I think that is so critical. Rebecca, how about you? What do you think is a takeaway people should be looking at and really consuming on this?
Yeah, I think maybe not such a takeaway, but I think that the staffing world, like you said, has changed exponentially, and there is so much noise right now, and you need to be able to break through the noise. And in my opinion, the way to break through is by being human and realizing that just because it's business to business, it's still human to human. It's not
Yes.
AI to AI. Like, we're not playing that game. That's not the way that
Oh my
you
God,
do
that is so
business.
good. I literally have
And that's
coined this and I've been using this every conversation I have with someone in staffing business. I go, don't forget, we're people selling the services of people to people. Like you
right.
can't forget that.
Right, right. There's a heart to your business, and you
Yes.
cannot forget that. And when we work with companies, that's what I want to know. What's the heart in your business? And a lot of the time it's missing. Like, it'll get drowned by cold calling or just generic stuff. And we want to avoid that. So
One
yeah, so
last
that's
thing
what
I'll
you
add
get.
on that because it's such a good
Yeah.
point is and why you need to work with a pair like Rebecca and I because it's things that you don't think of. But I just saw a study, it was done in a roundtable that I'm part of, that uh, somebody went out and did a chat GPT review of the top 20 staffing companies in the United States on their website. They took their website content and put it into chat GPT, all 20 of them, and had chat GPT analyze the common words, phrases, etc. 80% of the content was 90% identical in these sites.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
so
that's
I
what
mean,
you
you think
get when you
about,
hire a big marketing company too. Like, there are marketing companies out there that work specifically in our industry, and they will give you the same message as the next person, the same message as the next person. Like, they churn and burn. You
yeah,
start with them and they promise you big things, you don't
yep,
get the big things, and you leave. And I mean, it's good for my business, but it's a waste of
yeah,
your
mine
time.
too,
And
exactly. So
yeah.
again, click below, reach out to us. We'll have a link in there for our Calendly to set up a call with us. I know you're frustrated. Everyone's frustrated with this. Let's look at it from a different branch of the tree and see if we, to Rebecca's point, can help you find some heart in your business. Hopefully some good points from today you can take away, and we appreciate you watching. Thanks so much.
Bye.